Donald Trump secures victory in U.S. election. PLO Lumumba unveils alarming insights for Africa. In a world where political tides shift with each election, one recent event has sent shockwaves around the globe. Donald Trump has once again claimed victory in the U.S. presidential race. But what does the surprising turn mean? Not just for America, but for the entire world, and specifically for Africa. Could Trump's return signal major changes in U.S. Africa relations? And how might his policies impact Africa's future in trade, development, and diplomacy? Today, we'll dive deep into these pressing questions, drawing insights from renowned African intellectual Professor PLO Lumumba, who offers a thought-provoking perspective on how Trump's presidency might alter Africa's position on the global stage. If you want to stay informed on Africa's evolving role in global affairs, make sure to subscribe to the African Web and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Donald Trump's victory in the recent U.S. election was nothing short of a political upset, capturing critical swing states like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia, and leading in the popular vote, an accomplishment no Republican candidate has managed in decades. But while this news may dominate headlines in the West, its ripple effects are poised to influence Africa in ways that go beyond mere headlines. As Trump prepares to re-enter the White House, experts speculate on his potential approach to Africa. Professor PLO Lumumba has a unique take on this, suggesting that the continent could see increased U.S. involvement, but perhaps for different reasons than before. After all, what motivates a returning president to focus on Africa? According to Lumumba, Africa may soon find itself at the heart of a fierce geopolitical tug-of-war among global powers like the U.S., China, and Russia. But is this attention beneficial for Africa, or merely another chapter in a history of external influence on the continent? Interestingly, Lumumba points to the strong economic incentives driving U.S. interests in Africa, highlighting how the continent's resources have become increasingly vital to the U.S. and other nations. Minerals such as cobalt and lithium, essential for technology and energy sectors, are abundant in Africa and are drawing the attention of superpowers like never before. Could this renewed interest in African resources shift the economic playing field for African nations, allowing them to negotiate more favorable terms? The stakes are high, and Africa's leaders are in a position to make strategic choices that could redefine the continent's future. When it comes to the U.S.-Africa relationship, Lumumba points out a noticeable trend. Historically, Republican administrations have supported more African development programs than their Democratic counterparts. During Trump's last term, his stance on foreign aid was mixed, yet his administration was active in countering China's Belt and Road Initiative. Now, with new initiatives like the Lobito Corridor, a U.S.-backed railway project linking Angola, Zambia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, America appears to be pushing back against China's growing influence in Africa's infrastructure and resource extraction sectors. In addition to economic and security considerations, Lumumba raises a crucial point about the role of ideology in shaping U.S.-Africa relations. Trump's administration has historically emphasized a strong, nationalist approach to foreign policy, with a preference for transactional alliances. This approach could mean a shift away from traditional foreign aid programs toward more direct investments and trade agreements aimed at mutual economic gain. For Africa, this ideological shift offers a chance to renegotiate terms, focusing on equitable partnerships that foster local industries and workforce development rather than dependency. Could this new paradigm open doors for African countries to build self-sustaining economies, or will it intensify the pressure to align with U.S. strategic interests? Moreover, Lumumba highlights the importance of Africa's diplomatic unity in countering external pressures. With Trump's administration likely to favor bilateral agreements over multilateral institutions, African nations could face the challenge of negotiating with a U.S. government that prefers individual deals. This scenario underscores the importance of a unified African stance, particularly through organizations like the African Union, which could serve as a collective voice advocating for the continent's best interests. By presenting a cohesive front, African countries can strengthen their negotiating power, ensuring that foreign partnerships do not undermine their sovereignty. The question remains, will African leaders seize this moment to reinforce unity and drive a self-determined agenda on the global stage? Adding to this, Lumumba observes that U.S. foreign policy may also be motivated by security concerns, particularly as Africa becomes a focal point for emerging conflicts and regional instability. He suggests that Africa's growing security risks, from the Sahel to East Africa, are making it a strategic priority for the U.S. military. But the question remains, will increased U.S. involvement truly support stability, or could it lead to greater dependence on foreign powers? Africa's leaders must weigh these risks carefully, as security partnerships often come with strings attached. But what does this mean for African nations trying to balance foreign investments with their own development goals? Lumumba suggests that Africa must proceed carefully, ensuring that any engagement with global superpowers serves African interests. Could a stronger Africa, unified in its diplomatic stance, prevent outside powers from exploiting its resources? Lumumba believes so, urging African leaders to prioritize a symbiotic relationship with the U.S., one that goes beyond mere economic gain and fosters mutual respect. The stakes are high, as the U.S. is not the only player interested in Africa's strategic importance. From France's planned Francophone summit in Kenya to increased presence from British, Turkish, and Emirati interests, Africa has become a focal point for international competition. Each nation comes with its own agenda, seeking partnerships that may benefit them more than Africa itself. But as Lumumba aptly notes, the U.S. remains a superpower, with military bases spread across Africa and substantial economic influence. For Africa, understanding and responding to these dynamics will be crucial for the continent's progress. Lumumba also emphasizes that Africa's leaders must not overlook the reality that power still springs from the barrel of a gun. The U.S. remains one of the most powerful nations militarily, and its presence on the continent, for better or worse, cannot be ignored. Africa has seen this reality play out, with military bases and partnerships sometimes leading to stability, but also sparking controversy over foreign influence. Should Africa rely on such relationships, or focus on building its own strength? Ultimately, Lumumba's insights push us to consider the critical question: how should African nations navigate the complex landscape of foreign influence? Will Africa continue to be a field for superpower rivalry, or can it emerge as a strong, independent force that partners with nations on its own terms? Trump's presidency may accelerate these dynamics, offering Africa both challenges and opportunities. The path forward depends on Africa's ability to approach these relationships with wisdom and foresight, fostering alliances that benefit the continent's growth and sovereignty. What do you think? Can Africa leverage this shift in global politics to strengthen its position? Or will foreign powers continue to shape the continent's future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in following Africa's journey through the global political landscape, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the African Web for more insights. After all, as Africa's role in the world evolves, every step counts.